Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunsha Bihar Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunsha Bihar Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodarandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Kunja Bihari 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 Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Mai Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Mai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada जुगधर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all of you to the Srimad Bhagavatam class, Canto number 5, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 11, Jada Bharat instructs King Rahugana. Text number 3. न तस्य तत्त्वा ग्रहणान्यसाक्षात् न तस्य तत्त्वा ग्रहणाय साक्षात् वरीयसीरपि वचः समासान् स्वप्ने निरुक्त्य गृहमेधि सौख्यम् न यस्य हेयानुमितं स्वयं स्यात् न तस्य तत्त्वा ग्रहणाय साक्षात् वरीयसीरपि वचः समासान् स्वप्ने निरुक्त्य गृहमेधि सौख्यम् न यस्य हेयानुमितं स्वयं स्यात् न तस्य तत्त्वा ग्रहणाय साक्षात् वरीयसीरपि वचः समासान् स्वप्ने निरुक्त्य गृहमेधि सौख्यम् न यस्य हेयानुमितं स्वयं स्यात्. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Na, not, tasya, of him, a student studying the Vedas. Tattva Grahanaya, for accepting the real purpose of Vedic knowledge. Sakshat, directly. Variyashi, very exalted. Api, although. Vacha, words of the Vedas. Samasan, sufficiently became. Swapne, in a dream. Niruktya, by example. Grihamedi Saukyam, happiness within this material world. Na, not. Yasya, of him who, heya anumitam, concluded to be inferior. Swayam, automatically. Syat, become. Translation: a dream becomes automatically known to a person as false and immaterial, and similarly, one eventually realizes that material happiness in this life or the next, on this planet or a higher planet, is insignificant. When one realizes this, the Vedas, although an excellent source, are insufficient to bring about direct knowledge of the truth. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 2.45, Krishna advised Arjuna to become transcendental to the material activities impelled by the three material modes of nature. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. The purpose of Vedic study is to transcend the activities of the three modes of material nature. Of course, in the material world, the mode of goodness is accepted as the best, and one can be promoted to the higher planetary systems by being on the Sattva Guna platform. However, that is not perfection. One must come to the conclusion that even the Sattva Guna platform is also not good. One may dream that he has become a king with a good family, wife, and children, but immediately at the end of the dream, he comes to the conclusion that it is false. Similarly, all kinds of material happiness are undesirable for a person who wants spiritual salvation. If a person does not come to the conclusion that he has nothing to do with any kind of material happiness, he cannot come to the platform of understanding of the absolute truth or tattva gnana or tattva gnana. Karmis, jnanis, and yogis are after some material elevation. The karmis work hard day and night for some bodily comfort. And the jnanis simply speculate about how to get out of the entanglement of karma and merge into the Brahman effulgence. The yogis are very much addicted to the acquisition of material perfection and magical powers. All of them are trying to be materially perfect. But a devotee very easily comes to the platform of nirguna in devotional service, and consequently, for the devotee, the results of karma, jnana, and yoga become very insignificant. Therefore, only the devotee is on the platform of tattva gnana, not the others. Of course, the Gnani's position is better than that of the Karmi, but that position is also insufficient. Gnani must actually become liberated, and after liberation, he may be situated in devotional service. Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salake Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurasve Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपः तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। हरे कृष्णा। So before I start speaking, I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can speak on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam for glorification of Lord and purification of my heart. So in this particular section, we are seeing Jada Bharat instructing King Rahugana. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami is presenting the best of all the histories which actually teaches the most essential principles of devotional service. So we need not study the entire Vedas on our own like the Gnanis, or we need not perform Ashtanga Yoga like the yogis and uh, come to proper conclusion after thousands of years. So by their mercy, mercy of Sukadeva Goswami and all the wonderful Vaishnavas presented in Bhagavatam, Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Shri Shri Jagannath Balle Subhadramaya Ki Jai. So by their mercy, we are getting actually the essence of all Vedic literatures. So one should feel very grateful that although that I am not qualified to study the scriptures, because in the past we see that this Vedic knowledge was only taught to mainly Brahmanas. So, and especially in Kali Yuga, it is mentioned Kalo Shudra Sambhava. So everybody is a Shudra. But then we are given the best of all the knowledge, or the highest of all the knowledge. And also we are taught how to understand and apply it in our own lives by mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So these conclusions which Jadabharat is kindly instructing to King Rahuguna. So we can say that this is the best of all the realizations without undergoing so many austerities like the yogis, or without studying the scriptures on our own for, as it is mentioned, Bahunam Janmanamante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Somebody, maybe Gnanis, if they study on their own, so they may or may not come, but if one is fortunate to come in association with devotees, so he may come to the conclusion that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. So that is the essence of all the knowledge. So here in Bhagavatam means we are not performing any austerities like yogis, or trying to study on our own like the Gnanis. But what is our qualification? Actually, we have no qualification, but our only qualification is we are submissively trying to hear from the parampara, Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees. So, because of this qualification, we are getting the highest knowledge. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninas tattvadarshina. So, Guru is tattvadarshi. So, when he sees that a disciple is submissive, eager to render service, ask relevant queries. So, he is ready to give us the highest of all the realization. Even to the extent somebody is very, very new to Krishna consciousness, right? He hardly knows anything. But if he just purchases Srila Prabhupada books and studies submissively, he is getting in touch with the highest realization, right? Which the Gnanis or Yogis may get after so many lifetimes or thousands of years. So sometimes when we get anything very easily, we don't understand the value of what we are getting. We generally tend to take it very, very lightly or cheaply, right? So, like children, if they are given some diamonds, they may play that this is like some marble because they don't know the value of it. So, similarly, when this highest wisdom is given, sometimes we think or we take it very lightly. We don't understand the value of this. That what Prabhupada is giving or what Jada Bharat or all the acharyas are giving us. Because this is the highest realization which they are kindly sharing with all of us. Without we undergoing all that trouble. Right? So we should be very grateful to Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas that they have kindly shared this knowledge with us. So here in this particular verse it is being mentioned that a dream automatically is known to a person as false and immaterial. Once they come out of the dream, they realize this. Because as long as one is in the dream, he doesn't realize that it is false, it is useless and illusory. So, similarly, so just like a dream is temporary, illusory, so this material world, material happiness is also like a dream, because this is also temporary and illusory. So, but we become so much attached to this temporary illusory happiness. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartano arjuna. Mam upayati kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. So, whether you go to the highest planet in this universe or the lowest, so you will get the same threefold miseries and problems of this material world. You have to suffer. So, that's why a devotee of the Lord, he should be convinced about this fact that this material body, material world, and material happiness, all these are temporary and illusory. So, but the illusory energy, Maya, Avarnatmika Shakti, and Prakshepatmika Shakti, the Avarnatmika Shakti covers the living entity. The Prakshepatmika Shakti gives sufferings, various kinds of sufferings, once he is covered over, and still he thinks that this is happiness. So, just like somebody covers somebody with a chadar and he's getting kicks, but then he's thinking it is so nice. So, living entity is so much suffering, but he is not able to realize. So very graphically, this is mentioned, the story of Indra getting cursed as a hog. So I always try to think about that story, because we can see that how, um, although he was Indra, uh, when he entered that body of hog, and Brahmaji later comes and requests him that, no, now sufficient you have suffered, now you can come back to Indralok and get back to your position of Indra. But to his surprise, Indra was not willing. He was so much attached to that gutter and piglets and wife. So Brahmaji was completely shocked that how come this Indra is so much attached to this. Because we can see that how horrible is that position, right? Lying in the gutter, it's so dirty, eating stool, and uh, so for the hog which is completely in ignorance, uh, so it may not understand. It may be thinking that it's so nice, cool water, or nice foodstuffs, or beautiful wife and nice piglets. uh. So he may be thinking that it is such a wonderful family life. I am so much enjoying. So even in the mode of ignorance, passion, although one is so much miserable, still one may imagine that it is happiness. So it is happiness in the level of mode of ignorance and passion. Now we all can understand that how hog is suffering so horribly, right? Correct, no? Or if somebody is thinking that no, no, it is happy. So we all know that it is suffering. So in similar way, uh, we are also so miserably suffering. Why the hog is not able to realize? Because it is conditioned to that happiness. It is so much conditioned to that happiness he is getting, that pleasure in that gutter and with that family, that he is thinking that this is the best of all happiness, and I am satisfied in this. I am so happy here. So similarly, the living entities are also, the human beings also, some we get conditioned to this material world and material happiness and material body. We think that this material body is all in all, this material world is all in all, and this material happiness is all in all. So although we are also so much suffering, but the living entity is not able to realize that he is suffering, right? Because uh, because of that conditioning, right? He is not having faith in spiritual world or spiritual happiness or his true position. So we may not realize that we are suffering because of conditioned nature. So, and we also see everybody suffering around us. So we think it is part of life. It is part of life to suffer like this. We think this is normal. To undergo birth, old age, disease, death, threefold miseries. We don't think that this is something abnormal. I think this is normal part of our life. To do eating, sleeping, mating, defending, undergo all these things, various things. We think this is part of life. So what is wrong in this? And also somebody may be living a comfortable, materially comfortable life. Some nice house, family, car, job. So you think, what is wrong with this? I am nicely situated. So why I need Krishna, or why I need spiritual world, or all these various things. But actually it is abnormal for the soul to stay in that condition. It's not our normal state. Just like hog, no, Indra in that position, staying in that gutter, is thinking this is normal. This is such a nice place. So similarly, we staying in this material world is like that. This material world is also nothing less than a gutter. Yeah, very horrible. So the demigods, when they see us, uh, it is like we seeing the hog in the gutter. Yeah, they don't want to touch also the earth because it is so contaminated. So we, because of our conditioned nature, we are not able to realize that I need not undergo unnecessarily this sufferings. So we should hear and develop faith in who we are, who is Krishna, and our eternal relation with Krishna. So, and realize that how I need not have all this material body, material world, all these things, and I can take shelter of Krishna and come out of all this. So we should think it's abnormal to stay in this body and stay in this material world and experience this material happiness. It's not normal. See how much conditioned we are, right? How much we have become conditioned to this world. We think this is only eternity, or to continue like this is only normal, right? But for the soul, this is not normal. It's completely abnormal situation. So that's what here is mentioning, that we have to realize this. uh, so just like dream, nobody takes seriously because it has a beginning, it has a end. After you come out of the dream, you realize, Array, although you may be king, as it is mentioned, although you may be king or you may be politician, you may be PM or CM or whatever, these are all temporary illusory positions, identifications, designations. So once one comes out of dream, he just neglects, he forgets. But we are so much absorbed in this temporary life, these temporary designations, temporary uh, identifications with this body and in relation with the body, we take it so seriously, correct? Although we are soul, part and parcel of Krishna, that is our true identity. Jivere Swarupai, Krishna Nityadas, that is our true identity. But forgetting that all these false identities, we take them too much seriously, right? Okay, being in this material world, we need to, yeah, whatever various designations we may be having, we may be performing those related activities or duties. That is there. But then that's why we hear Sarva Upadi Vinurmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Ishikesha Ishikena Sevanam Bhakti Ruchit. So until we give up all these false upadis and engage our senses in service of Krishna, so we cannot render proper devotional service. So that's why even after coming to Krishna consciousness, the more we identify even with the false designations that I am this body, I am a male, I am brahmachari, I am uh, head of this department, or like that, if the more we strongly identify and become attached materially, the more it becomes difficult to render devotional service or even chant. So when we chant, that's why we see that the more we are attached to those designations, the more our mind also tends to go in that direction. Because what you identify yourself as, your mind thinks in that way. Because when you think I am this body, you think about in relation with the body. When you think I am so and so in so and so position, So your mind also starts thinking in that way, right? But when you identify that I am eternal servant of Krishna and I am meant to serve Krishna, give pleasure to Krishna, then you start thinking in that way. That's why when we even enter the DT room, so we perform all the various achamana and Bhuta Shuddhi prayers, and so that we give up all these false identities and enter in the mood of our true identity. Because in the false identities, we tend to commit offenses, even whether it is performing deity worship or any form of devotional service like chanting holy names. So we should pray to Krishna that even after coming to Krishna consciousness, I am so much in ignorance. I am not able to realize that how much I am in ignorance. Correct? Sometimes we are not able to recognize how much I am in ignorance. That's why Om Agnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militamena Tasmai Shri Guru. We are begging Guru, we are requesting Guru to please enlighten us so that we can come out of this darkness of ignorance with the torchlight of knowledge. See, when there is darkness around us, even in general, there is ignorance. Correct? When current is off, you are not you are not conscious, or you are not in knowledge of what is where. Correct? Everything is dark. So that's why example is given. Even if you are walking in darkness, if you touch a rope, you may think it is snake. You may get different understanding. But when there is light, then immediately you are knowing what is what. So similarly, we need mercy of Guru to come out of this deep conditioning of ignorance, which is covering us, the Avarnatmika Shakti, which sometimes covers us during class also. So, we should be careful about uh, protecting ourselves by taking shelter of Krishna, because only Krishna can help us to come out of that ignorance, right? Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So only Krishna can help us to come out of that. So that's why one should constantly endeavor to take shelter of Krishna. So there's a second aspect which here uh, is mentioned about in this purport. Prabhupada is quoting Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraiguna Bhavarjuna Nidvando Nitya Sattvasto Niroga Kshema Atmavan. So the Vedas deal with various subject matters of the three modes of material nature and should become transcendental to these three modes and free from all anxieties for gain and safety be established in the self. So the Vedas talk about karma kanda activities to a major extent, where uh, one tries to serve the various demigods to get some material benefits. So in the next verse, Krishna is mentioning Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvata Sampludodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatha. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So Krishna is already mentioning Vedescha Sarvair Ahameva Vedyo Vedantakrit Vedavid Eva Chaham. So he is the compiler of all the Vedas, and by studying all the Vedas, he is to be known. But people want to perform this karma kanda or these various activities for their sense gratification. So Prabhupada is quoting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that when he met Prakashananda Saraswati, so he is telling that instead of studying the Vedanta philosophy, why are you unnecessarily uh, no, doing this chanting? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions how his guru told him that you are a fool, don't waste time by studying all the Vedanta philosophy. He told you just chant the holy names. So Prabhupada quotes here this famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Aho batasva pachato gariyan yajivagre vartate namatubhyam te pustapaste juhushashnurarya brahmanachurnama grananti te. Saying, O my Lord, a person who is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of Chandala, is situated on the highest platform of self realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literatures many, many times after taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. So, this is how one should see a person who is chanting the holy names of the Lord. Means he has already performed all his penances, sacrifices, studying the Vedic literatures, everything, bathing in all the holy places, everything. Right? So, because chanting the holy names is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. Because by chanting the holy names, you are coming in touch with Krishna. And you can gradually realize your eternal relation with Krishna and develop love for Krishna. So that's why we are so fortunate that we are come in touch with Srila Prabhupada, who has given that. So in the purport, Prabhupada is also talking about Danis, yogis. Uh, so we see that Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashant. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayeva Shant. So the bogis, like the karmis or the gnanis. So Prabhupada is saying here that they have their own personal motives. Basically, they are not dependent on Krishna. They want to do all this to gain something in return for their sense gratification. So, but the devotees of the Lord, they fully depend on Krishna, right? They don't want anything else. They just want to render devotional service. Ahaituki apratihata e atma suprasidati. The more our devotional service is unmotivated and uninterrupted, it satisfies us, and that is considered the best of all devotional service. So we see in that even the gnanis or yogis, so they also ultimately, we can see from some personalities that how after coming in shelter with Krishna or devotees, they realize that only devotional service is the highest. So we see in the third canto, the Chatush Kumaras, when they went to meet Lord Vishnu, they were stopped by the Vishnu Dutas there, Jay and Vijay. And so that time we know the past time how the whole thing happens, and finally the Lord comes to settle the issue. So that time when these Kumaras, they smell the aroma of Tulsi from the lotus feet of Lord. So it is mentioned, Tasya Aravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargatasva Vivarena Chakara Tesham Sankshobham Aksharajusham Apichitta Tanvo. So when this breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of lotus feet of personality God entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in the mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. So they had some tinges of gnani tendencies, but when they smell this aroma of Lord's lotus feet Tulsi, so they got transformed. So um, similarly, we see in ninth canto, Durvasa Muni, he tried to trouble Ambarish Maharaj. So we know that he tried to kill him. So, but then Lord sent his Sudarshan Chakra, and for 1 year he was traveling in all the three worlds, Brahmaloka and wherever possible for protection. But finally he realizes that even Lord Vishnu is also not ready to protect him. He even says that you should go to Ambarish Maharaj only. So finally Durvasa Muni comes to take shelter of Ambarish Maharaj. So that time, because Durvasa Muni is a yogi, that's why I am quoting this. So Durvasa Muni says, Aho Ananta Dasanam Mahatvam Drishtam Adhyame Yutagasopi Yadrajan Mangalani Samihase. So he is saying, my dear king, today I have experienced the greatness of devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For although I have committed offense, you have prayed for my good fortune. So we see that even Durvasa Muni, who was a great yogi, he also realized the greatness of devotional service and devotees. Because here he is telling that although I tried to trouble you so much, but still we see that Amrish Maharaj, he was fasting for him still. Not that Amrish Maharaj is enjoying. देखो अभी क्या हो गया you tried to trouble me and now see what happened. And neither he is okay anyway Durvasa Muni, let him go around, let me eat something and enjoy. He was fasting until he came back. So, and he completely forgave him, not having any anger, frustration, or grudge. That's why Durvasa Muni is glorifying here Ambarish Maharaj. So, and then he next verse is saying, Dushkaro konu sadhunam dushtajo va mahatmanam e sangrito bhagavan satyatam rishabho hari. For those who have achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of the pure devotees, what is impossible to do and what is impossible to give up. So, in one sense, materially speaking, Ambarish Maharaj was not as powerful as Durvasa Muni, because Durvasa Muni had so many siddhis, right? Which is so powerful, so much that he could travel everywhere, right? But because he took shelter of the all powerful Supreme Lord, that's why he could so easily be protected, right? His protection was almost impossible before the strength of Durvasa Muni, right? But uh, it was very easily possible to be protected because he is under Lord's shelter. And although Ambarish Maharaj was such a great devotee, means also such a great king, so generally it is difficult to give up all those material attachments or material things, and also especially false ego. But we see that Ambarish Maharaj had no tinge of false ego, because generally if we have false ego, we maintain grudges or we envy, we want to take revenge. That is a sign of false ego. But Durvasa Muni, he could Ambarish Maharaj, although it is very impossible to give up such things, whether material opulence, false ego, but he could very easily give it up. Because he got what he got? He got the highest benediction, which is shelter of the Supreme Lord. That's why Lord also says, no, when Durvasa goes, Sadhavo Hridayam Mahyam, Sadhanam Hridayam Tuham. Madanyate na janahi, naham tebyo managapi. So I am always in their hearts and they are also in my heart. They know nothing else than me and I know nothing else than those devotees. So, because they are experiencing the highest bliss of Krishna consciousness, so they are very easily able to give up all these lower things. The final verse I'll just end. Yannama Shruti Matrena Puman Bhavati Nirmala Tasya Tirtha Padakim Va Dasanam Avashishyate. What is impossible for the servants of the Lord? By the very hearing of His holy name, one is purified. So, because devotees take shelter of the holy name of the Lord, that's why for them it is easy to give up anything of this world. Although they may be giving up this thing, but they are getting the highest benediction. Right? So, from these incidents, we can understand that how even the Gnanis and Yogis, they also realize that how devotional service is the best process of all the process. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So in the beginning we saw that how we are fortunate to receive the highest realization through Srimad Bhagavatam, right? As we discussed that this mercy of Sukadeva Goswami and all the acharyas like Prabhupada, without performing any austerities or without studying so long, like the Gnanis, we are getting this highest benediction very easily. Then we discussed about material happiness, how it is temporary, illusory, and how we get conditioned in this material world. I gave the example of Indra getting cursed, and how we are also so much conditioned we are not able to realize how much we are in ignorance. And then we discussed about um, how the Gnanis, the yogis, how they are just depending on themselves, whereas the devotees depend on the Lord. And we saw some examples of Durvasa Muni and the Chatuskumaras, how even the Gnanis and Yogis realized that devotional service is the best of all the process. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.